Hello there. Welcome to Kakaaki, the African Voice on Africa Independent Television, AIT. My name is Kunle Adewale, and it's good to be with you this Monday, the 30th day of March 2026. I hope you had a great weekend. And if you live in Abuja, you must have known that, of course, quite a lot of politicking took place here in Nigeria's capital city. But let's take you to Kano first this morning, where the political scene took a couple of significant twists over the weekend. And it all began on Friday when the deputy governor, the former deputy governor, we'll call him now, Aminu Abdusalam Gwazo, resigned his appointment. A statement by his spokesperson, Ibrahim Shuaibu, confirmed the development to newsmen, stating that the resignation had been formally communicated. Although no official reason has been given for the resignation, the development comes amid recent tensions between the deputy governor and the Kano State House of Assembly. The Assembly had leveled a series of allegations against Gwazo, including claims of misconduct and issues bordering on the discharge of his official responsibilities. The resignation also comes against the backdrop of recent political realignments in Kano following Governor Abba Yusuf's defection to the All Progressives Congress, a development that has triggered significant shifts within the state's political and administrative structures. And the political drama didn't end there, as in another significant development, the Kwakwansiya movement, led by Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, announced its decision to join the African Democratic Congress, ADC. The move, expected to take effect today, March 30th, 2026, marks a new chapter in Nigerian politics and comes after months of speculation about its future with the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Kwakwanso's decision to join the ADC instead of the All Progressives Congress, APC, stems from his desire for tangible, and we quote now, tangible political benefits and a clear role in the party, end of quote. Now, in a press statement, the movement's spokesman, Dr. Habibu Saleh Mohammed, disclosed that Senator Kwakwanso will officially register with the ADC at his Kano residence, Gidan Kwakwansiya, in the next few hours. The statement also directed members to follow suit, registering with the party in their respective areas. So joining us to shed more light and put some perspective on a dramatic weekend in Kano State politics is Dr. Habibu Saleh Mohammed, is the spokesman for the Kwakwansiya movement. Now, the last weekend also witnessed busy times for the ruling All Progressives Congress and the main opposition People's Democratic Party. Both held their national conventions right here in the capital of Nigeria, Abuja. The All Progressives Congress concluded its 8th national convention overnight on Saturday, with Nentawe Ilwata returning as the party's national chairman. The APC also picked Surajuddin Bashiru as its secretary. The duo and other members of the National Working Committee of the party were elected via a consensus arrangement ratified by delegates at the convention. The Convention Election Committee announced the members of the NWC during the 4th elective national convention of the party. Others include Felix Morka as Publicity Secretary and Dayo Israel, who retained his post as Youth Leader. The National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, held late Sunday here in Abuja as well, with over 2,000 delegates from across the country taking part in the exercise. Several chieftains of the party, which held sway at the center in Nigeria from 1999 to 2015, were at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, where the convention is happening. The convention held as the party is embroiled in a bitter crisis on which faction of the party claims, in which each faction of the party claims the existence of a court injunction restraining the party from holding the convention. Now, despite the legal battles that lie ahead, the convention held and returned a new national working committee, which includes Abdurrahman Mohammed as national chairman, Aaron Chukwemeka, deputy national chairman South, Yusuf Nya Akirikwen, deputy national chairman North, Samuel Anyau, national secretary, Olabisi Kolawole, deputy national secretary, Professor Adenike Adedayo Gunshe, national women leader, Ibrahim Bala Aboki, national youth leader, Kamaldeen Ajibade, national legal advisor, and Jungudo Haruna Muhammad, national publicity secretary. The convention mastermind and Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike and the new national chairman Abdurrahman Mohammed described the convention as a successful turning point for the PDP, upon which it will build numerous successes. Well, joining us to take a look at both parties' conventions, the significance of their outcomes, and what this portends for the 2027 general elections is James Ugochukwu. He is the Regional General Secretary of the West African Civil Society Forum. He will join us later on the program. But of course, you must not forget that you can join us too. You can be part of the program by sending your views and comments to all our social media handles on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. AIT_live at AIT Livestream 1, and of course, Africa Independent TV on YouTube, so you can keep up to date with the latest news from around the globe. Now, talking about the latest news, stay with us. We'll take a break and join our news desk for the world news. Thank you for staying with us on Kakaaki, the African Voice. This is the world news. We start from France, where 3 people have been arrested in connection with a suspected foiled bomb attack on the Bank of America's headquarters in Paris, France's anti-terrorism prosecutor's office said. An initial suspect was detained at the scene after he placed a device containing 5 liters of liquid believed to be fuel and an ignition system close to the bank. On Sunday, French security services said 2 more people had been arrested in connection with the incident, which happened on Saturday in the city's 8th arrondissement, a couple of streets from the Champs-Élysées. France's Interior Minister Laurent Nunez said the attempted attack could be linked to the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. According to a police source, the initial suspect who was detained at the scene was accompanied by a second person who appeared to be taking photos and videos with a mobile phone, but who fled when officers arrived. Under French law, suspects in terrorism cases can be held for 96 hours. This period can be extended by a court. The Paris Judicial Police and France's Domestic Intelligence Service, the General Directorate for Internal Security, are also involved in the investigation, according to the Anti-Terrorism Prosecutor's Office. Iranians crossed into Iraq via the Shalamcha border on Sunday, hours after an airstrike hit near the Iranian side, cutting power and halting trade for several hours, according to Hada Abdul Samad, the crossing's deputy director. The strike occurred around 3 a.m. local time and was not the first since the war began, he said, without providing details on casualties or the strike. Electricity was restored and trade resumed by mid-morning, but Abdul Samad noted such disruptions have become routine amid the ongoing war. Cross-border movement has declined significantly, though dozens of Iranians continue to enter Iraq, seeking cheaper goods, internet access, and brief family visits before returning to nearby cities, such as Abadan and Harvaz. Many described the U.S. and Israeli strikes as relentless and frightening, but said they would not leave. Iran warned on Sunday of escalation after Israeli airstrikes hit several universities, including ones that Israel claimed were used for nuclear research and development. Concerns over Iran's nuclear program are at the heart of tensions. The country's Revolutionary Guard warned that Iran would consider Israeli universities and branches of U.S. universities in the region legitimate targets unless offered safety assurances for Iranian universities. That's according to the state media. U.S. colleges have campuses in Qatar and the UAE, including Georgetown, New York, and Northwestern universities. We quote, if the U.S. government wants its universities in the region spared, it should condemn the bombardment, end of quote, of Iranian universities by midday Monday, the Guard said in a statement. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Bakai said on Saturday that dozens of universities and research centers have been hit, among them the Iran University of Science and Technology and Isfahan University of Technology. Both sides in the war are threatened to attack civilian facilities, which critics have warned could be a war crime. A missile fragment that fell on a factory outside the southern Israeli city of Beersheba on Sunday set a pesticide tank on fire, according to Israel's fire and rescue, sending black plumes of smoke and billowing flames high up into the air. The fire and rescue services said there were no injuries from the fire and no danger to the public, but evacuated people nearby as a precaution as multiple crews attempted to get the fire under control. Loud booms continued to be heard across Israel on Sunday following the military warning of incoming missiles from Iran. And Israeli police have blocked the head of the Catholic Church in Jerusalem from entering Christianity's holiest site to celebrate Palm Sunday. The Latin Patriarch, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, and the Reverend Francesco Ielpo were stopped outside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, believed to be the site of Jesus Christ's crucifixion, and where they plan to hold a mass to mark the start of Holy Week, church authorities said. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said worshippers of all faiths had been asked not to visit sites in Jerusalem's old city for safety reasons after recent Iranian attacks, but the move has drawn strong criticism from global leaders as well as the church. U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, said it was an unfortunate overreach, that was difficult to understand or justify, while Cardinal Pizzaballa's office said it was the first time in centuries a Latin patriarch had been turned away from the holy site on Palm Sunday, which marks Christ's return to Jerusalem. Netanyahu said the police had acted out of special safety concerns and that a plan was being drawn up to allow church leaders to worship at the site in the coming days. Israeli police said all holy sites in the old city had been closed to worshippers since the U.S.-Israel war against Iran began on February 28 for security reasons, and that it had rejected the Patriarchate's request for a Palm Sunday exemption. Hundreds of Peruvians flocked to Catholic churches across Lima to celebrate Palm Sunday, marking the official start of the Holy Week. At Lima Cathedral, many people managed to get inside for the blessing of the palms, while hundreds of people remain outside due to lack of space. Inside the church, the National Police and local authorities set up barriers so that those who could not enter the cathedral could still have their palms blessed. The week between Palm Sunday and Easter, known as the Holy Week, is the most sacred time of the year for Christians when the faithful commemorate the Passion of Jesus. Palm Sunday commemorates Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem. In Lima and Peru, people bring their palm bouquets so that they may be sprinkled with holy water by the bishops. These palm branches are placed in every Catholic home to receive divine protection as part of their faith. Back here in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, now has a new National Working Committee following the conclusion of its 2026 National Convention held in Abuja, with leaders emerging through a consensus process. The exercise, which called for unity, inclusiveness, and renewed commitment to rebuilding the party, produced officials who will steer the affairs of the PDP for the next 4 years.
A new chapter has opened for the People's Democratic Party, PDP, another chapter in its turbulent history. With court orders recognizing its legitimacy, the National Caretaker Committee of the PDP has now given way for a substantive National Working Committee following its National Convention, which concluded at the late hours of Sunday. Prominent at the event was the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, who has consistently maintained that the caretaker group is the legitimate body of the party, and with the successful conclusion of the convention, he has proven once again his leadership mettle in the party's politics.
What's necessary to get the basic foundation? And we have the very foundation. Let's go back to our states, the sub-national. Most of these governors will defend them. To let them know you cannot use us and dump us. Let's start from somewhere. You cannot just overnight, every day you are considering presidency. Can you win the presidency when you don't have it on ground? Certainly not. So why not go back to the grassroots and rebuild your party?
The convention has opted for a full consensus model to select its executive team. Abdurrahman Mohammed, the former chairman of the Caretaker Committee, was elected as the substantive national chairman. Joining him at the helm are Aaron Chukwemeka as deputy national chairman, South, and Yusuf Akerenkwen as deputy national chairman, North. The administrative core remains steady as Anyanwu Samuel secured re-election as national secretary, supported by Kolawole Olabisi as deputy national secretary. Other key positions were similarly filled through the unified voting process.
Thank our delegates who left their respective homes, who traveled very far away to be here to elect us, to make this convention today a reality.
The newly elected executives were sworn in immediately following the announcement. Party elders charged the team to operate strictly within the ambit of the party's constitution and the rule of law.
Let's put hands together and make sure that we forge ahead as one family. For those who are not yet there, I appeal to you again. It is not about interest. It's not about our individual objective. It is a collective responsibility of this great party to this great country.
In his inaugural address, National Chairman Abdurrahman Mohammed described the convention as a turning point for the PDP. He urged members to prioritize collective goals over individual interest, stressing that no personal ambition is greater than the survival and success of the party.
That the People's Democratic Party is capable of rising above difference, of choosing consensus over conflict.
The new NWC is expected to move into the PDP Wadata House National Secretariat on Monday. Amaka Okoro, AIT News, Abuja.
Former Kano State Governor and 2023 presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has formally announced his resignation from the party with immediate effect. A press statement released on Sunday and signed personally by Kwakwanso described his decision as a difficult one, noting that he had been a committed and bona fide member of the party. Highlighting the reasons for his resignation, Kwakwanso pointed to the current trajectory of the nation's political landscape, which he said necessitates a strategic realignment. According to him, the evolving political environment requires aligning with a platform that offers a more viable path towards achieving meaningful national change. The former governor suggested that his move is driven by the need to reposition himself within a political structure better suited to addressing Nigeria's challenges. While he did not disclose his next political destination in the letter, he emphasized that his decision was guided by national interest and the pursuit of a more effective governance framework. He expressed gratitude for the opportunity to serve as the NNPP's national leader and its presidential flag bearer during the 2023 general elections. That's the world news on Kakaaki, the African Voice. But stay with us, we have more reports for you on Kakaaki Business.
Welcome to Kakaaki Business. Trade talks between Switzerland and the United States will continue beyond March, following a preliminary accord on tariffs struck last year, Swiss President Guy Parmelin said. Switzerland was subject to the highest U.S. tariff in Europe when U.S. President Donald Trump in August imposed a 39% duty on products imported from the country. In November, Bern sealed an initial deal to cut the tariffs to 15%. Switzerland later began talks to formalize that accord, which Washington was pressing to conclude by the end of March. In February, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Trump's global tariff, prompting him to order a fresh 10% global duty. In March, the U.S. launched new investigations against major trading partners, including Switzerland, casting further uncertainty over how talks would proceed. Parmelin, who is also the Swiss economy minister, told state broadcaster RSI last weekend the March target was de facto no longer applicable and that negotiations would continue. The next round of Swiss-U.S. trade talks is likely to take place in April, according to two people familiar with the matter. The Indian government said on Sunday it is relaxing petroleum safety and licensing rules to allow faster distribution of kerosene to households as the Iran war disrupts energy supplies worldwide. The Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas said in an official notification that the measures would enable the ad hoc distribution of kerosene to households for cooking and lighting in 21 states and federal territories. A group of World Trade Organization members agreed on Sunday to sidestep adoption hurdles for the world's first baseline on digital trade rules, opting to bring the agreement into force among consenting participants, the WTO said. In recent years, efforts by a group of countries to fold the e-commerce agreement into WTO rulebook were twice blocked by dissenting members. The pact aims to foster an open environment for digital trade. The push to accelerate entry into force among members who represent 70% of global trade stems from mounting frustration over those obstructions, a senior diplomat told Reuters. Under WTO rules, plurilateral agreement among subsets of members requires consensus. At the 14th WTO Ministerial Conference in Cameroon, 66 members settled on an interim arrangement to activate the deal within their countries while pursuing broader incorporation into the WTO framework. Japan's State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry Yamada Kenji hailed it as a historic step toward global digital trade rules, same as the UK Business and Trade Secretary Peter Kyle, who also hailed the move. And Nigeria is deepening its economic partnership with China, signing a new framework agreement aimed at boosting trade, industrial growth, and digital transformation. The agreement was signed in Yaoundé, Cameroon, by Nigeria's Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, and China's Minister of Commerce, Wang Wentao. The deal establishes a flexible platform for cooperation with both countries, identifying key priority areas to drive shared development. Under the trade model, Both sides are expected to promote the export of Nigerian specialty goods, particularly agricultural products and services, while advancing the liberalization and facilitation of trade in goods and services. The agreement also targets more resilient supply chains with plans to establish investment facilitation mechanisms to support Nigeria's industrialization, transformation, and upgrading of key sectors. Both countries will collaborate on modernizing development sectors by enhancing digital trade, expanding e-commerce, electronic payment systems, logistics services, and cloud-based solutions aimed at narrowing Nigeria's digital gap and boosting overall digital development. And foreign capital inflows into Nigeria's banking sector rose to $13.53 billion in 2025, representing a 93.25% year-on-year increase from $7 billion recorded in 2024. This surge occurred as banks intensified capital raising ahead of the Central Bank of Nigeria's recapitalization deadline. Latest data from the Capital Importation Report by the National Bureau of Statistics shows the banking sector remained the largest destination for foreign capital, accounting for 58.26% of total inflows in 2025, compared to 56.81% in 2024, highlighting its dominance in Nigeria's capital importation landscape. A breakdown of the data shows sustained growth across all quarters, reflecting consistent foreign investor participation. The data shows that Nigeria's recapitalization exercise is likely a major driver of foreign capital inflows, reshaping the structure of capital importation. And lastly, on Kakaaki business, foreign investors increased their activity on the Nigerian exchange in February 2026, but more money still left the market than came in, showing that offshore investors remain cautious. According to the latest domestic and foreign portfolio investment report by the Nigerian Exchange Limited, both foreign inflows and outflows rose compared to January. However, withdrawals continue to outweigh new investment, reflecting ongoing concerns about the economy. Foreign inflows grew significantly by 39.39% to 66.71 billion naira in February, up from 47.86 billion naira in January. At the same time, foreign outflows also increased by 9.12% to 72.32 billion naira, compared to 66.28 billion naira the previous month. This left a net foreign outflow of 5.61 billion naira in February, an improvement from the higher net outflow of 18.42 billion recorded in January. Overall, foreign transactions rose by 21.81% to 139.03 billion naira, indicating stronger participation by foreign investors during the period. And that's it on Kakaaki Business.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Still Kakaaki, the African voice, and of course, moving straight from Kakaaki business, we go now to Kakaaki sports. And of course, Monday mornings, Sembe Shima is here as usual to give you the very latest. It's not politics alone that happened at the weekend. There was plenty of sports too. So let's go join her now. Morning, Sembe.
Good morning, Kunle. Morning.
How was the weekend?
Yeah, it was fine. It was interesting. I mean, so much international football to watch, and I must just say, it's looking like the World Cup is going to be very interesting.
Oh,
so
yes.
we're all looking forward to the World Cup as it is now.
It's a football fiesta extraordinary, as I would like to call it, because 48 teams. It's going to be a great fiesta.
Yeah, the more interesting is the fact that even the Para Games has kicked off in Abuja, and also we're getting into all of that activity. See all our para athletes, compete in different sports for honors, and then perhaps also prepare for the Olympics and all of that.
Sure, Para Games. That's where Nigeria usually excels, where world beaters at that level.
Yeah.
So let's hear from you.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome to the Kakaaki Sports. Yeah, beautiful Monday morning indeed. It's good to be here to find last Monday in the month of March, but not the last Monday here, right here, because more Mondays have but still coming up. But it's good to be here this beautiful Monday morning. And so much to discuss in the world of sport, of course. And this morning we'll be focusing on a lot of issues, beginning, of course, with the Para Games that is ongoing in the capital city, right here in the FCT, where over nearly 2,600 600 athletes competing in different 15 games across the states, 31 states, including the FCT, at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. And they will be, going head-to-head to, compete for honors and also book slots for international competition. Well, if that also permits, we'll also talk on, of course, league football and talking about the NWFL, that is the Nigeria Women's Football League, and of course the NPFL, the Nigeria Premier League. And then also we would definitely be looking at fixtures and results from the ongoing Edo FA Cup, what it looks like as the games unfold right there in Benin City. But I'm not here alone this morning. I am not here alone. I mean, I have I like to call it a very vast, intelligent, smart-looking guest, Tolu Ogutimehi. Tolu is my guest, and he will be joining me shortly so that we'll get into the discussion as it concerns activities of sport this morning. Tolu, if you can join me, please. All right, Tolu, good morning and welcome to Kakaaki Sports.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so quickly, Tolu, it's been going, the para-athletic games now, we know it's ongoing in the capital city, kicked off over the weekend. A lot of competitions are going to be seen in a couple of days from 31 states and the FCT inclusive. Your thoughts on this particular organization happening in the FCT at this time? And then, Bayelsa, do you think they have what it takes to defend their title in these games?
I think in the last few years, there's been gradual development in Bayelsa State. So much effort is being put into sport. And also, the appointment of Daniel Gadi seems to be the right peg in the right hole. He's been able to do a wonderful job since he has zone position. From being a commissioner, being a member of the House of Rep, and continuing as a commissioner, he has done so much. We don't even talk about wrestling. The effort he put into wrestling to reposition wrestling Nigeria that makes Nigeria to become one of the most competitive nations in the world when it comes to wrestling. He's doing wonderfully well. So their performance, we've seen it over the years, how they have been growing when it comes to sport, challenging the likes of Delta State, Edo State, I won't forget River State right there. And so we're not surprised when they won the last edition of the Para Games. And the possibility is there, they may definitely win this one again. But I think the sleeping giant is gradually waking up, talking about Delta State. Let's see how that we're going to pan out.
All right, Delta State, Bayelsa State, River State, like you rightly pointed out. And when we talk about games in Nigeria, those are the states, and those states, not leaving out those states, those are the states that, most likely go head-to-head, and perhaps we'll see competitions coming out and victories or wins, trophies coming out from those states. So I'm definitely optimistic. But again, talking about the para-athletes now, we just know that they got a ticket. The basketball para team won a ticket. And are you optimistic that this history they've made to win the ticket to Glasgow, they will do something good out of it?
Yeah, I think there is this thing going on in sport. It's quite difficult to really be able to describe it. But I think there's so much effort coming from the federal government when it comes to supporting sport. It's unprecedented the way the government has been able to support sport, especially when you take a look at the budget of sports. Before it used to be envelope. That means you don't know what you get to see. No matter your budget, you may have a budget of about 10 billion. It's what you see in the envelope that gets to determine. But this time it's a totally departure from the past. We are having about over 300 billion for sport. That's unprecedented right there. And also the National Institute of Sport, under the former Deputy Governor of Edo State, is also working assiduously to reposition the National Institute of Sport, and with the way they've been able to ensure that they increase the budget. So federal government is supporting so much. So no wonder you see the result going on, the youth games, Nigerian athletes doing wonderfully well. And we are qualifying for the Commonwealth Game para basketball for the first time. It's unprecedented in this. And I'm happy about that. And I think they're going to give every country a run for their money.
For their money, indeed. Yeah. I mean, making history. Always, the underdogs are always underrated, and perhaps that's why they mostly go far in some cases. And for Nigeria, I think it's been a long time coming, like you said. Good administration, good run, and perhaps they'll get good results as well. But let's move away from para games now to other events that took place over the weekend. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, we know they played against Iran right there in Turkey, and it was a victory for Nigeria Super Eagles. I saw some funny videos online. Someone say, why did you have to defeat Iran? But are you happy about this result? And what do you think is the implication of this result? 2-1 victory over Iran going into...
I don't want to get into the political waters. So just stay away from that. We focus on football. Focus on football. I think it's a wonderful, it's a good opportunity for the Super Eagles to try new players. Though the coach also started to stick with some of the players that played for him at the last Nations Cup. But in the second half, we saw a couple of new players coming in, Fernandez and so a couple of others. Having the opportunity to lace boot for the national team and also also understanding what it takes to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Winning is not even the most important thing, but the most important thing is for us to be able to blend new players and be able to give them the opportunity to see what it takes to play for the Super Eagles. And gradually can see one or two who may be able to make into the main team and give others a run for the money. And that's what we want to see. I'm happy this Friday is coming up, though it's coming at the time when we'll not be at the World Cup, because by that we ought to have been playing we should not put a sort on the injury right there. But it's coming at the time when we're supposed to be at the World Cup playoff, but unfortunately we're not there. But I think it's just a way to really sow the wound of so many Nigerians right there playing Iran, and also will be playing Jordan. And I think it's not bad for the new crop of players who have the opportunity of playing for the Super Eagles.
Right, indeed. It's not just Super Eagles. They're flying right there in Turkey against Iran, and they will face, talking about Jordan, in the second international friendly. Like Tolu rightly said, sadly, these friendlies are not going to take us anywhere, but they are going to perhaps add to our rankings when the next rankings from FIFA is released. So they'll take on Jordan tomorrow in Turkey right there, and we'll see what happens or what the result will look like at the end of the day. But now moving in from the Super Eagles and, of course, the Para Games, let's talk league football, the NWFL. Tolu, I know you're a supporter. You're a he-man. You're a she-man. So, I know you support women football. So, looking at the results, getting into almost wrapping up the first stanza, the results and the standing, what are your thoughts on this result, basically, and which one is the shocker for you? March day 12 is upon us already.
Really interesting result right there talking about, but I was surprised that Remo Stars had to drop points against Conflict Queens. Conflict Queens has been struggling this season, but unfortunately going away, good one for them going away to Remo and forcing Remo Stars ladies today. But I'm also happy with the performance of FC Robo. Quite surprised they are at the top of the table right now, especially when you put into consideration where they are playing, the opposition they are right there. But for the fact that they could be at the top of the table right now, really surprising. Talking about, they've been consistent over the years, sponsored by just one individual, but he's been able to continue to shun out new talent week in, week out, that's been able to go ahead and represent Nigeria. But I'm also looking at, but Oshu Babes, it's sad one for Oshu Babes. They are both struggling. Going down. They are both struggling in the male team and another in the female team. I'm not really, I don't know what's happening with it.
You're throwing shades now.
No, I don't know what's happening right there. Probably the government delegate needs to do more to support football right there. So what sports generally in Oshu State, they need to do. I know the bottom line has to do with fun, getting the right support. If not, they will definitely be going down, and I feel so sad for them. Delta Queen survived through the skin of their teeth against FC Robo right there, but FC Robo still at the top of the table. I'm happy with what FC Robo is doing right there. Well, I'm also impressed with some of the results recorded over the weekend, I must tell you, during the week.
All right, indeed. I definitely want to say that Bayelsa Queens looks very formidable, looks like they are going to defend the title. They are the current champions, most decorated team in the NWFL. But now let's look at the standing currently. That will give us a clear picture of what the table looks like, or what perhaps the result looks like going into March, after March day 12. The standing, if we can have the standing quickly. All right. So anyway, the Bayelsa Queens obviously top that table in March day, after March day 12 in Group A, and also we have FC Robo, like you said, also topping the table. If we can have the standing quickly, please.
But just before you get to the standing, I think Nigeria will be going down. And I feel so sad. The Abuja Bay side, they are this particular position right there. Not what you were expecting right now, but I feel so sad for them.
I think my director is saying let's move forward, but the standing is before the NPFL. Anyways, look at Kakaaki. This is, we have the standing right now. This is March day 12. After March day 12, these are the correct standing in Group A and in Group B. As we all know, the NWFL has two stanzas. They're going to play. These are looking like who are going to move into the playoffs. The three top teams in Group A going into the playoffs, and Group B, the three top teams also going into the playoffs. Like you rightly said, Niger Rattles, the Abuja-based team that we're hoping to make name from, is going down the drain, and Osun-based. But now there are three top standings in the Group A. Your thoughts on them? Do you think it's a Bayelsa United, Bayelsa Queens time, or a Rivers Angels time?
This is where the battle is. Don't forget they're going to play Super 6. The top three from each group will definitely go to the Super 6. But you know, this is where you have the top teams, Rivers Angels, Edo Queens. These are all former champions who wants to prove a point. So it's going to be a battle to the final day of the season. But it's not going to end there. We're going to get to the Super 6 where we'll see the. But most importantly for me, I want to see the best team representing Nigeria on the continent and going very far. The last time our Delta Queens represented, they didn't do well. We want something better than that. Edo Queens and Bayelsa Queens gave us a good account of themselves. But we want to see the Nigerian team winning, especially with our dominance when it comes to women football in Africa. We should be struggling in the Cash Women Championship because we have the quality of players to be able to deliver.
And looking at the Nigerian Women Football League, it actually graduates players from that league into the national team. So this should be a dominant force when it comes to women's league in Africa. But now currently standing on the table right there, Rivers Angels in first place with 27 points, Edo Queens in second place with 27 points, level on points, Rivers United, and Bayelsa Queens right there 24 points from 12 games they played already. And also in Group B, we have FC Yoruba in top place there with 25 points. Nasarawa Amazons, just neighbors to Abuja here, in second place there with 23 points. And Abia Angels in third place with 21 points. So if this ends like this, these teams will qualify to the playoffs round, where 6 teams will play off each other to get a champion for the Nigeria Women's Football League. But now that takes us, of course, to the NPFL. That's the Nigeria Premier League. It is interesting. It's getting intense. Yeah. I mean, so much talks around the league. But tell me, what do you think of this league this season? How can you describe the league this season, first of all?
It's beyond words, because I think at this point in time, the battle is not even at the top of the table.
It's
the battle at the bottom of the table. We have about 4 former champions struggling against relegation. It's never happened in the history of Nigerian football. A big team like Eyimba, Remo Stars won the league last season. They are battling against Kano Pillars. These are even Plateau United, who is currently 9th on the table. It's not sure they are out of relegation. They need to keep finding a way to remain where they are right now. So the battle is going to be quite intense till the final day of the season, because every of these big teams want to scale relegation. But at the top of the table is topsy-turvy between Rivers United, Rangers now. 1 week is Rangers United, the next minute is Rivers United. But they survived through this kind of defeat last night against Kun Khalifa. A surprising team right there. They've been able to turn around their fortune since the second round of the league, and they've been gradually moving on to ball. It's been tough because you know the kind of opposition you face. But the Rivers United had to give it all. Ikorodu City too met a resilient, unyielding Warri Wolves, who has also shown their color in so many away matches right there. 4-3 in favor of Ikorodu City. Your Gap Boys did struggle in that match, but they got the needed result at the end of the day right there. Nasarawa United dropping points against Kwara United. Nobody ever saw it coming. Their performance this is beyond words, because at the point in time they were topping the table. Right now they are 4th in the log. For Nasarawa United, 2 seasons ago, last season they were struggling to escape relegation. Now at the top of it,
that's the most surprising part of the season. This season. I mean, Nasarawa United.
I must give kudos to their chairman of the club, talking about Banja, who has been able to do a wonderful job. After stepping in as the chairman, he's been able to stay with the shape, and right now they are battling again among the top 4 to see whether they can be able to pick continental ticket. And I feel so sad for Abia or Chineke boys. I thought they would be able to pick a continental, but it's not yet over. Mama Makabo is doing a wonderful job right there. You need to watch Abia Warriors play. Wonderful brand of football, swashbuckling kind of football that you don't enjoy every minute, right from the blast of the whistle till the end. And I hope that they'll be able to pick continental ticket at the end of the day. But you know the party is going to be tough. Oga Boy is not ready to let go, and individually your own team, giving so much. Rangers International right there. At a point in time, we thought their coach would leave after the national team but decided to stay back. The GM insisted that he must see them through. And right now, they are battling to win the title, and it's going to be quite interesting. Rivers United put in so much, bought so many players. Vinny George, can he deliver at Rivers United? You know, after the performance in the CAF Champions League,
and also performance this season.
A lot of people were disappointed with his performance right there. I think he's able to put that behind him right now, but he needs to focus on delivering on the title. Can he be able to deliver? That's a different ballgame entirely. But this one season, you will never forget in a hurry, because it's going to take you to the final day of the season.
Talking about not forgetting in a hurry, quickly, let's talk about Remo Stars even more. I mean, you mentioned something about Rivers United Enugu Rangers, where you said the coach, we were thinking he will leave after the national duty, but he stayed back, and the management said you have to see them through. But for Remo Stars, one would say since Ogumode they left, it's more like Remo Stars just went from up to like a pendulum dropped, and they just went down the drain. And look at them here struggling to survive in the NPFL, the defending champions. Quickly, what do you think happened to Remo Stars?
I think it's more of off-field issues, not really what's happening on the field of play. But there's so much unconfirmed reports, the fact that the coach wasn't happy, Ogumode wasn't happy with the fact that after the exit from the Champions League, most of the top players left the team. They have to now start to win, and he wasn't really happy. So after the national team, they kept it hush-hush. We couldn't really get to see the main storyline behind it right there. But some who are close to the quarters, Federers coming in, talked about some of the reasons why the coach decided not to come back right there. And they decided to continue with the assistant coach, but they realized they may not be able to do anything. So they brought in an attacked former Canopilas, former Yimba, who is right now in charge. They won. They defeated Kwara United 3-1 last weekend. This weekend they know they needed to get a point in Bornu, and they went there. They conquered, not getting the 3 points, but they were able to get 1 point against Academy Wars. Not a mean feat. It shows their determination to escape relegation. But I want to see them escape, because it doesn't look good for Nigerian football. Former defending champion being relegated at the end of the day.
The first season they just won the champion.
I don't understand where that's coming from. So I really want to see the Remo Stars move away from the relegation, so probably probably escape relegation, but they need to put in a hard work for them to survive.
So quickly, if you're going to predict who will be going down the drain, because it's just match day 32, or it's match 32 already, I read.
Yeah, just 6 more matches.
Who would you think will go down the drain? And then looking at the NNL teams are getting promotion already. We know that somebody has to go. Somebody will go. People will go. Who do you think will go down?
A whole lot of issues right there. I think who's going to go down there, they'll be determining what's happening off the field. Kun Khalifa tried to reposition themselves, but I don't know whether they have where we there to see it through. They're probably, for me, they may likely be going down. Wiki Tourist, there are so many off-field issues. And I see the possibility of Wiki Tourist going down. Accra United, somebody said something after what happened, that Accra United is going down. But I feel so sad for them. I wish they could be able to find a way. But for me, putting it on paper, the possibility is there that Wiki Tourist, Kun Khalifa, Accra United may be going down there. But who's going to join them is what I don't know. Between Remo Stars, Eyimba, Kano Pillars, Warriors, Barrow, Tornadoes, nobody's saying anything. So we need to see who's going to get.
See, just to recap on the points now, looking at it now, you see definitely that Rivers United on the table right there with 55 points. Games played for Rangers International in second place, just United from 36 more games left to be played. We have Shooting Stars in 5th place and also our Warriors in 6th place. But the continental slot will definitely be between Rivers United, Rangers International, City, and maybe Nassau United if they actually keep the winning coming up. But in the bottom place, we have Remo Stars, they're the defending champion. I like to emphasize that because, like you said, it's the first time it is happening in the history of the MPFL, or first time in a long time. Remo Stars, the defending champion, struggling out of relegation, in the relegation waters there. And then Kwara United also in 18th place there. Wiki Torres in 19th. And we have Kun Khalifa, the new boys who are not so ready for big boys football, going down there in the bottom place. But the results, we have the after-match day 32, of course. We have Bender Insurance, 2-2 draw against Plateau United, Kwara United, and Nassau United. Kwara United, they got the best win, but again, it didn't lift them up of the relegation side. And then on Sunday, there's Academy Warriors and Remo Stars. You see, they're 1 point apiece. Shooting Stars and Rangers, it was Rangers who lost, and that reflected on the table, as you can see there, 3-1 against Shooting Stars. They had to drop their first position to Rivers United, and Barra FC up against Katsina United. It was a goalless draw. It ended Niger Tornadoes and Wiki Torres, 2-0 in favor of the home side. Niger Tornadoes and Eyimba, all their defending 9-time champions of the Nigerian Premier League, still struggling around relegation waters, but it was a win for them against Abia Warriors in the Continental Derby there. I beg your pardon, in the Oriental Derby. And then Bayelsa United, 4-1 against Kano Pillars, struggling Kano Pillars, Ikodo City, also 4-3 against Warri Wolves. Then Rivers United, tabletoppers, 4-2 against Kun Khalifa. It was a four-goal spray for most of the team, but Eyimba and Abia Warriors, Oriental Derby, quickly.
Really interesting area. And we had to wait till the final minute of the game to secure that win against Abia Warriors. Abia Warriors equalized in the 88th minute, and I thought it was going to end 1-1 draw. Well, just before the final whistle, a penalty awarded to Eyimba, and Chidera Michael sealed the win for Eyimba, winning by. They needed that win, because it would have put them their ability to escape relegation in jeopardy if they failed to have gotten that 3 points right there. And I think it's a fresh breath here. But they are now out of the cold water threat. They need to keep fighting. I don't want to see Eyimba being relegated at the end of the day. But it's football, anything can happen. If they don't do what is right, they'll be relegated at the end of the day. Especially when you have so many issues, changing of coaches over and over. Finding the continuity, finding that balance may be quite difficult. And I think that's what's affecting Eyimba, Kano Pillars at this point in time. And Eyimba, Remo Stars, Kano Pillars. Both of them having so many issues when it comes to coaching.
All right, indeed, Tolu, thank you so much for your analysis. But quick one before I let you go. The prediction of who wins the title. Just in case I don't get stuck to you before the league wraps up, because 6 games left to be played, like you said. Who do you think it will be this time around? Rangers, 9-time champions, 11 on points, Eyimba, or Rivers United?
You know, it would have been good to see Ikodo City win the league. Because from nowhere, nobody... Last season, we had an individually owned club winning the title. Can Ikodo City winning? I don't know. It would have been good to see them there. But it's going to be tough, especially when you look at the Rivers United Rangers who have at their disposal. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a battle between Rivers United and Rangers United at the end of the day.
So you don't want to choose a pick a side?
Between the two. I don't know which one of them will pick it at the end of the day.
You're just playing safe now. Anyways, between the two, so yeah, you still made a bet. I get to ask you, or if that happens, if it doesn't happen, if Golden City gets to win, you're still right with that prediction. But thank you so much, Tolu, for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and just before we go now, let's bring you results, of course, from the preliminary round of the ongoing FA Cup in Edo State. Yes, the FA Cup that is currently ongoing now in Edo State, where teams are dogging it out there for glory in the State Federation Cup. And if we can have the results quickly, the preliminary rounds of the Edo State FA Cup result as released, as played yesterday. Yes, this is the results from the ongoing fixture that there in Edo State. As we all know, our darling Dark Communication are the official jersey sponsors of this particular tournament. Now talking about the Edo FA. And it is just right for us to bring you the results and bring you up to speed of what is going on there. We have, after the preliminary round, the first preliminary round of the game, these are the results from that game. We have St. Andrews FC defeating Victoria FC 2-1 there. Worshippers FC played out the goalless though and ended 4-2 in penalties in favor of Namo FA, I beg your pardon. And then also we have Royal Force losing out there to Al Haji FC. And then there was also Ine Stars FC up against Ancient Intelligence, but Ancient Intelligence lost that one there to Ines Stars FC. So it's looking interesting. That will be giving you updates as the Federation Cup unfolds right there in Edo State, Benin City. These were the results, and perhaps keep watching AIT Sports, and they'll give you all the details as they unfold. But thank you so much for being a part of Kakaaki Sports this beautiful Monday morning. I remain St. Bishima saying Kakaaki continues with social intervention segment, so stay tuned.
To Get Fit in 60 Seconds with Dolly Phillips. Now, everyone has 60 seconds in every day to spare. So if you're ready, let's go! All right, so today's workout is called Heisman Shuffle and triple high knees. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Have you got it? And your time starts now. Let's go. Shuffle. On the spot. Shuffle. Hey. Hey, on the spot. Good. Don't stop now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On the spot. Hey, come on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On the spot. If you can't move in that Heisman shuffle, just stay on the spot throughout. Works exactly the same way. We still work those muscles. The heart is pumping. Ha, come on. Down to 25 seconds now. Let's move, come on. More energy. Yes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Push. Hey. Ha. Nice. 10 seconds. Hey. Ha. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Don't stop now. Last 5, 3, 2, and 1. Good job, everyone. Well done. Well done! I hope you had a great workout. Anyway, what I need you to do is to follow us on Instagram at Alpha Fitness Studios and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Alpha Fitness Studios, for free workout videos, free dance videos, sales and promos, and make sure you join us at the gym, Alpha Fitness Studios in Lekki Phase 1 next time you're in Lagos. So until the next time, bye-bye!
Hello, great people of Nigeria. Welcome to the Leadership Clinic. Today, I'll be speaking on converting challenges into opportunity. The greatest task of leadership, actually, is how to deal with difficulties in our space. Nigeria today is filled with several challenges. Africa is in huge deficit of leadership capital, and that has caused a lot of pains a lot of shame, and most importantly, that has generated so much crisis across the system that the greatest test of leadership is how to handle these challenges and crises. So anybody who has the capacity to be able to elevate his thinking and his thoughts in such a way that he begins to look at every challenge that comes his way or her way as an opportunity to actually make a difference, to actually make an impact, to actually step up and be counted. The truth of the matter is that the 21st century leaders are in greater need of showing how they can make a big difference. Sometimes people seek for recognitions, all the time, but guess what? Once there's a challenge, a problem throws up within their spaces, what do? They sink. And so only those who will continue to remain relevant in these times will be people who have capacity to do what? To look at challenges and stay calm, calculated, and deal with those challenges until those challenges are converted into opportunities. And those opportunities can actually become what would, throw them up in the public space and give them the opportunity to be heard or seen. Do you see that? Every leader that has built something great went through process. And sometimes process is tough, challenging. But those who always win are those who have mastered the game. Great people of Nigeria, you must remember, if a man does have a purpose waking up, sleeping becomes interesting.
Have you ever wondered why your child doesn't understand your face language? Now, this is a funny and debatable topic. Some people feel it's best to tell the child what you don't want or what you mean in public, irrespective of whether the person you're visiting will be hurt or not. While some others think that the facial communication is still a good way of communicating with your child without others around noticing. I remember in my young days, my mom had different facial impressions to communicate with me when we were in public. Now, a friend of mine told me recently that her son never understands her facial expressions, and I jokingly said to her, please reduce your heavy makeup. But frankly speaking, facial expressions between you and your child in public is a good one. Now, there are times you think that your child is talking too much. You could establish facial contact with your child and do this. What if your child is about to collect food from a stranger, no matter how many times you have warned him or her not to? You could do this. What if you want your child to leave a place or you're ready to leave? You could simply do this. Now, just form whatever facial impression that you want. Your child needs to understand your body and face language. Likewise, you should understand his or hers. And for effective facial communication, work out and practice different facial expressions and agree with your child. Make it so much fun. And remember to remind your child that it is a secret code. It's a secret code. Facial communication also bonds you and your child, and it also keeps your child in check, and it's so much fun. So let the fun begin. Honestly, that's my 2 cup.
The issues as they break. The multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy.
And our government seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is important.
The intrigue.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it was for that reason in our politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
Focus, Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
Ask him where is the law.
National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
So people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
For
this
the former president,
yes.
what I know is that he has not turned his membership card. Has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal with.
There's no shying away from the
The
issues.
system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live. People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. You are still watching Kakaaki, the African Voice, and it's exactly 2 minutes after 7 a.m. Of course, that's the time of day when we take a look at the top stories, the headlines on the front pages of Nigeria's newspapers. You know, we don't do that all by ourselves. We have joining me this morning in the studio, we have Dr. Lemi Ugegbe, who is already here, seated, looking like $1 million. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
It was good until the tragedy just last night that has actually knocked me off my calm and my perch.
Understandable, quite sad, the goings on there. But let's also tell you that we have joining us from Lagos virtually. I'm not sure Chris is in Lagos, so let me not say what I'm not sure of. Good morning, Chris Kehinde, joining us from... Where are you joining us from this morning, CKN?
Joining you from Lagos. Good morning.
Okay, I need to confirm because, you know, some of the time you are in Toronto, other times you are in Obo. Sometimes you are in Abuja here with us.
It's nice to be here. How was your weekend?
Well, my weekend was okay. Of course, you know how it is in Abuja, or how it was in Abuja at the weekend. Politics all over the place, and you had to, if you're not one of the delegates, you had to just be careful how you moved around. So that was how my weekend was, a quiet one spent largely at home. Okay, welcome. Let's go straight, look straight at the papers, what they have for us this morning, straight into the headlines. And we will start with the Daily Monitor this morning. And the Daily Monitor leads with the story, 2026 National Convention. Wike-backed PDP faction elects Mohammed Anyau, 19 others as NWC members. The writers say FCT Minister assures party will be on the ballot in 2027. Lamido urges aggrieved members to return to PDP. That's the Daily Monitor. Let's go now to the Leadership newspaper. Its front page story says INEC attends Wike-backed PDP convention. Kwakonso joins ADC today. Moving away from the Leadership, let's go to the Abuja Inquirer and its top story. The main headline there says, INEC monitors Wike-backed PDP National Convention. And the writers say, Saraki, Lamido, Makarfi, others present. ADC says, APC with 31 governors still jittery. Tinubu donates all earnings since taking office to Military Welfare Fund. That's the lead story on the front page of the Observer's Times this morning. The writers say Nigerian Army revitalized by President Tinubu's support, says Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu. ISWAP describes Al-Muhajir's death as greatest loss in recent times. Also on the front page of that paper, you'll find Kwakwansia directs members to join ADC. Kwakonso to register on Monday. Tinubu turns 74, unveils Armed Forces Fund, donates salaries. That's on the front page of the Daily Asset this morning. The writers say Remi Tinubu, Shetima, governors, others hail leadership reforms. Prevail on governors to pay pension, union tells Tinubu. That's the front page of the Daily Asset. Let's go now to the Standard Times. 74th birthday. Tinubu launches special fund for fallen, wounded soldiers, donates salary. Moving on now to the New Telegraph. The story there, birthday. Tinubu orders dedicated account for wounded, dead soldiers. And a number of riders there donates personal salaries since assuming office. Says his government determined to confront, overcome challenges as APC governors, others felicitate him. Details of that on pages 2 and 6 of the New Telegraph this morning. Moving on now to the Blueprint. Its headline says, at 74, Tinubu, a seasoned leader you can trust. APC, NSGF, and Idris. That's the writer says President donates salaries to Armed Forces Fund. Page 8 is where you'll find details. When you go to the next paper, which is the Disclosure, it's also leading with that story. Tinubu at 74, renewed hope has brought hardship, pains to Nigerians. ADC. The writers say President orders low-key birthday celebration, cites mood of nation. Governors, stakeholders greet him. Also on the front page of that paper, 2027, Kwakwanso to join ADC today. Former presidential candidate quits NNPP, directs supporters to register with ADC in Kano. Party is set to release presidential primary method, may adopt consensus. This is Nigeria. That's where we're going next. 2027, Kwakwanso breaks with NNPP, heads for ADC, reshapes northern opposition politics. That's the top story on the front page of that paper. You'll find details of it on page 2. Also, on the front page of that paper, INEC monitors PDP convention as Wike, Saraki, Moro, Ohwabunwa call for unity. Abdurrahman Anyau make NWC leadership story. You'll find the details of that story on page 5 of this Nigeria. Let's go now to the Nigerian News Direct. Kwakwanso resigns from NNPP amid speculated move to ADC as obedience push for Obi Kwakwanso ticket. That's on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Okay, since Al Jazeera is already on your screen, Al Jazeera Nigeria on Monday, the top story there is defection fever. At last, Kwakwanso jilts APC, settles for ADC. And the riders tell us resigns from NPP. Kwakwansia movement directs members to follow Kwakwanso. Let's go now to look at the Nigerian pilot. The Nigerian pilot leads with 2027. NDC ready for showdown in Bayelsa. Plenty of riders there. Let's take some of them. Dixon Cleopas working hard to ensure party's victory in national state elections. In Bayelsa, party already holding meetings with former 7 local government chairmen, National Assembly members, State Assembly others. That's the Nigerian pilot for you this morning. Let's go now to the authority newspapers. Emergency rule. How IBAS spent 302 billion naira in 6 months. Rivers government. Serap Malls either fresh FY request or amended court process. That's the authority for this morning. Let's go to the Daily Global. Why petrol prices will remain high. Why petrol prices will remain high. Dangote, and of course, on the front page as well, several other stories there. Yilwada, at 74, President Tinubu stands tall as the architect of a new Nigeria. The Business NG is the next paper we're going to, and its own top story is economic. Nigeria bleeds $29 billion annually from power failures. That's according to the World Bank. And that story flows from the front page to page 2 of the paper. Let me also take this one. Tax filing deadline remains March 30. Penalties clarified. 70,000 naira earners hit with 100,000 naira tax penalty. That's the story there. All right. I think the Business NG is the last paper that we have for you. Okay, we have the Business Diary. Let's take a look at what the Business Diary has this morning. Recapitalization. Risk-based capital to force further capital upgrade for banks. Recapitalization, risk-based capital to force further capital upgrade for banks. That's the top story on the front page of the Business Diary this morning. All right, that's the last paper that we've got for you this morning. Let's now take the issues to our reviewers. You are here in Abuja. The the conventions took place here in Abuja. So let me start with you. Wike-backed PDP faction elects Mohammed Anyanwu, 19 others as NWC members. That's the Daily Monitor, Abuja Inquirer, and the leadership newspaper this morning. How do you read this?
Well, party conventions generally have begun to take a new toll. In those days, at the beginning of Nigeria's nascent democracy, party conventions used to be a big deal, with the parties opening the floodgates for people to come and contest whatever positions they are. And we saw the APC a few days earlier also conduct their own convention. And as if preempting what will happen with PDP, my piece was on democracy now becoming a ceremony in the back page of This Nigeria Today, because we now see that parties are more inclined to wanting to control the narrative and outcomes. And so with the adjustments of the Electoral Act, the amendments, which allows them clearly to reach a consensus. And consensus, as anticipated or intended by the Electoral Act, is such that nobody should be bullied into a consensus. We saw the APC convention, and we saw that there was Fubara Dagogo, who even got suspended because he was shouting that he had paid 5.1 million for his nomination form. He was not allowed
to fill it.
To even get it to participate. For the PDP, it's more or less also reinstating the current people who are in place. The difference here is that they are still trying to settle their infighting, as it were, but in trying to do that, we see that based on judicial pronouncement, INEC attended that ceremony, observed the ceremony, which shows the edge that the Wike-led group holds over the Turaki group. But the point is this: finality is not a word in politics, so we imagine that they should really, in the interest of the nation's democracy and the Nigerian people, we imagine that they should really try to resolve whatever wranglings are. Abdurrahman and Anyanwu have also been given a new lease of life. Senator Anyanwu returned as secretary. The fact that Bukola Saraki, former Senate president, was there, one of the finest governors that Kaduna had ever produced too, McCarthy, Senator McCarthy was there. It showed something, but that is not the PDP that Nigerians had gotten used to. PDP conventions used to be a big deal. So we hope that even though the Wike group seem to have the edge, we hope that they can really come together and reconcile fully with the Turaki-led group so that we can have a formidable opposition party. But on both sides, whether the PDP, whether the APC, this is not what democracy and internal democracy.
Internal party democracy. All right, Chris, do you agree with Lemi this morning, or what's your own reading of the situation in Nigeria's main political parties, the top two, the APC and the PDP? Let's start with the PDP because that's the headline here.
Yes. There seems to be some interferences in the network where someone else is being, I think it's being added to the, can you please tell them?
We're having trouble hearing you, Chris, if you can hear us. I don't know, there's something wrong somewhere.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. It's from the studio. Tell those in the studio they are trying to add someone else to the discussion. So probably they just allow that person to stay back. Let us finish the discussion. I saw somebody being joined in on the group, so that I can be able to hear you. Now I can hear you very well, and I can go ahead with my discussion.
All right, go ahead.
Now, first and foremost, I think I would just rather remain with the PDP. We have already spoken a lot about what happened between the PDP and also the APC at the weekend, and I totally agree with him. On the issue of the PDP, yes, Wike has finally gotten what he wants. This is what he has wanted right from the outset, when he directly or indirectly infused some level of confusion into the PDP, just tried to take a total control of the PDP, either for his own personal interests or for whatever interests that he holds very close to his heart. Don't forget the fact that the FCT minister have said it time and time again that he is going to support the second-time ambition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that is not questionable, which means that if the PDP, which he's heading, funny enough, I had yesterday during the convention where they were calling him, is now the leader of the party. A minister of the Federal Republic is now the leader of the party. To me, that's a total aberration. So, but it is what it is. So, if Wike, as it is, has gotten what he wants and has his members as the authentic or the recognized PDP as it were presently, then that means that this particular set of PDP executive will throw their weight behind the current president. And the question you ask yourself, does it also mean that PDP will not be the presidential candidate in 2027? That is what it looks like, because now this PDP used to be the largest party in Nigeria from 1999 to at least up to 2015, when the APC took over power. And you expected that a party of that nature will not be allowed to go the way it is. But they've allowed themselves to be fragmented, and probably what you are just seeing is just a carcass of what used to be the PDP. Although the Turaki faction has also gone to the Supreme Court to challenge the ruling of the courts, which give legitimacy to the Wike faction of the PDP. So the battle ahead is still very, very strong. But the question I'm going to ask myself, I'm going to ask Barrister Yesu Wike this morning. Now, if you are backing, is going to back President Bola Tinubu at the presidential, what will happen in your state of Rivers? Are you going to support the candidates of PDP, or is it the APC? Because all his supporters, as it were, are practically decamped to the APC. All the members of the State Houses of Assembly who hold their allegiance to Wike have decamped to the APC. Even the governor had decamped to the APC. So, as a national leader of PDP, which party is going to support in Rivers? So these are the intrigues going ahead. But what we're seeing now is a total charade of what it used to be, convention used to be. And the convention in those days is when you come to the national convention, people be allowed to pick form, participate in the election, and what we've seen, just like some people have been raising the eyebrow with the electoral act that was passed recently and signed into law, where it was given that, well, concession is people can go into parties can go into concession, and that is what we're hearing. People are now being handpicked by the leaders of the party to lead the party, which to me it is not a sign of democracy. But let's wait and see what happens. But the PDP I'm seeing presently is not yet to Uhuru, and in the next few weeks and months, let's see what will happen. Whether they'll be able to come together and have a convergence and be able to sort out their problem as a team, the Turaki team coming together with Wike's team and forming a formidable opposition in 2027 is yet to be seen. Even if that is the case, does it mean that now that the Wike's faction has practically taken over all the position in the NWC or at the national level, what would the Turaki faction also come up with?
Okay, Chris, we'll see how that goes. Let's move on to something else now. The Observer's Times, the Daily Asset, and Standard Times all talk about President Tinubu donating all earnings since taking office to the Military Welfare Fund. This is, I'm not sure you saw this coming.
No. Good gesture, but I tried to read the report itself, and it says it's directed the Accountant General to ensure that a special fund is created so that all the monies is meant to be salaries from when he took over office is managed. Of course, the salaries is earned since as president have gone to him. So is he going to now remit the salaries back to the Accountant General to put in the special funds? That's part of it. It's not clear. But the idea, the concept is good. However, we do not want a situation where we have to rely on the magnanimity of a president or a governor to ensure that our soldiers, our ex-servicemen, those who are injured, those who are slain, and their families get a fair deal. We expect that it should be properly institutionalized at a level where, look, all over the world, the military personnel that give their life to serve their countries are well catered for. The idea that we have to wait for such magnanimity speaks to the fact that the real welfare of the military personnel has not been taken care of. And it's important that we emphasize that this idea that as a people we just wake up, a leader just decides this should go, this should happen from his salary. Instead, if the president is really minded beyond the politics, he should institutionalize a process of welfare that is established beyond his tenure in office. That's the way to go. we should say, well, it's commendable he has that thought, but that thought is ephemeral, it's temporary, because it is all about the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The moment he leaves, we can go back to where we were. So let's institutionalize it. Let's also ensure that we can also support these military personnel when they go to theaters of war and try to save, protect our country, that we can have a situation where they have the right equipment to work with. Okay. And of course, also call them out to the fact that people are bleeding. Nigeria is bleeding. While we appreciate the work the military has been doing, just over the weekend, you know, we've been traumatized with news emerging from Angwan Rukuba in Jos, where people just went amok, killing innocent, defenseless citizens of Nigeria. The business of government is the protection of life and property. If government cannot do it, then what then is the essence of government? So while we play all of the sound bites and all that, what the people need to see is that they can go to bed with their two eyes closed, that they can live in a country where these things are like fairy tales. In those days, when you hear about suicide bombing, you hear about killings in the Middle East and all that, it looked so far-fetched. All of a sudden, we have a situation on our hands that nobody is sure, even living in Abuja. So it's so traumatic. It's difficult for Nigerians to feed. It's difficult for Nigerians to breathe. And it's high time that government forgets about the politics of 2027 and deal decisively, because I know that our military are superbly trained. They are very distinguished in their operations. If the political will is there, working with the United States, working with Israel, and whoever is ready to help us, we should by now deal with terrorism and insurgents to the point that we can breathe. This is very disheartening, and my heart goes to the people of Plateau State, and it's just disheartening, really.
Okay. Chris, I don't know if you've read about Angwan Rukuba. It's not actually on the headlines this morning, but from what we're hearing, it's something that happened on Sunday. But talking about that, it's another round of bloodletting on the plateau. And it's quite worrisome. I saw some of the pictures this morning, and they are quite gory. They are not things that you can show on TV. Your thoughts?
Yes, the report coming in, I woke up this morning to see most of the videos. There's a particular video of a woman that I saw carrying her son that was killed. And the report is still sketchy. We don't know what really happened. We've seen videos, we've seen pictures, and we say, not again. This happened time and time again. Just like a few days ago, we saw what happened also in Kwara State, where these terrorists went ahead to also kidnap some people from some places in Kwara State again, despite all the assurances that we got. There was, if we're talking about the military, just a few days ago, about 11 military men were also killed in Kebbi State. And I think 11 soldiers and one policeman were killed in an ambush in Kebbi State. So the issue of insecurity is on the rise. And that is why I've said time and time again, this government must really up its antics and be able to tell Nigerians why they have to be voted for again in 2027, because if all the promises made in 2023 by the APC, some of them have not been, especially the issue of security. There has been a high level of, improvement. The military are doing their best under the circumstances they find themselves. This is not a conventional war, but more can still be done. Why we wake up every morning and find out that people are being killed just for no reason. Even countries in the theater of war don't get this number of killings on a daily basis, and we are seeing in Nigeria. So our security agencies just have to also continue to also orbit and make sure that they get to the level of intel so that they can be able to nip this in the bud before it happens. My heart goes out to the people of Plateau State, Benue also happened in Benue. And that brings us back to what Lemmy was just talking about. The gesture Chris, by the president. Yes.
Let's quickly talk about one other political event that happened at the weekend, because we must go in a minute or so. And I want a quick comment from you on the headline from this Nigerian News Direct as well. Kwakwanso breaks with NNPP heads for ADC and reshapes northern opposition politics. Let's talk about that very quickly.
Yes, Kule, just 30 seconds. Let me land on what I was saying the last time. And
we don't have much time left because we must go.
I know, Kule. Yes, I know. What I was to say is that gesture should also be extended to also the Nigerian police, not just the military. They also have the issues that the president was talking about. Then about Kwakwanso, well, a new realignment is going on. We have seen that with the visits of Obi and some others to Kwakwanso last week, we knew that something will happen. So we heard that today, Kwakwanso will defect to the ADC, which is a big win for the ADC. How they'll be able to manage themselves going through to 2027 is what we don't understand. We don't know who is going to be the presidential candidate of the ADCs as well. Based on that, depending on what they're able to come up with, that will now give Nigerians an opportunity to probably have a choice.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.
The opposition in 2027.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much. I have to let you go now. Thank you. Have a great day out there in Lagos, and please take heart. Whatever happened in the Plateau is not pleasing to anyone, but please take heart and have a great day out there in Lagos, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, let me a final word here from you about Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso breaking away from the NNPP.
His friend, what's his name now? One of Buhari's very close friends in those days. What's the man's name? He described when the governor of Kano left NNPP for APC as World's Betrayal Day. Now, Kwakwanso has left a party, a child that he betted. He's left it. So what will we describe that with? That's the apogee of betrayal, I would think. But then finality is not a word in politics. Politicians are just looking for where the grass is greener. So it's not a surprise. I use the opportunity again to condole with the people of Plateau State, remembering that reminding again the military especially that the pains that people bear when theirs are killed, are slain in cold blood, is not a pain that will let go. And that is why narratives coming from people like the National Security Advisor and General Oluyede, using misplaced metaphors of prodigal son, giving narratives that make the pain of people who have lost theirs very much more difficult to bear. We must call on the president to rein in on these people, rein in on the Chief of Defense Staff, rein in on the NSA, because in a country that is saner than this, we will not have people like that with such narrative remain in office.
All right, Lemmy, we have to go now. Thank you very much for talking to us this morning. Thank you for your time and your insight on the newspaper review this morning. Lemmy Ogegbe has joined us, as well as Chris Kendenwandu from Lagos. We thank you both, gentlemen. Have a great day. And that time now to move on to talk about our very first topic this morning, looking at Kano State and the politics that has been brewing there for quite a while now. We did tell you at the beginning of the program that it all began at the weekend when the deputy governor, the former deputy governor, Aminu Abdulsalam Gwazo, resigned his appointment. And no reason has been given for that resignation, but so many things have been insinuated, but we'll get to know exactly what is going on there. Let's talk to Abibu Saleh Mohammed, is joining me virtually from Kano this morning. Good morning, Abibu. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right. The resignation of the former deputy governor, Abdulsalam Gwazo, did it come to you as a surprise?
Well, I think we have already made a statement about that. Not only me, and I believe all Nigerians, it did not come to anyone as a surprise. Looking at the circumstances and particularly looking at the reaction of the state government since the deputy governor decided not to actually defect with them to APC. And also the first casualty actually is the Ministry of Education or Ministry of Higher Education that is actually under the deputy governor's office. The governor hastily scrapped a particular ministry in an attempt to continue to intimidate and cajole the deputy governor to either leave or to also follow suit to the APC. Not only that, you also have to look at other agencies under that particular ministry, like Scholarship Board, which continue to suffer because of that, and several other things. And the Konkosia movement, feeling the fact that education is our key priority, and also several other things under the office of the deputy governor have been subject of attack here and there, decided that in the best interest of the state and also for the function the way it's supposed to, decided to just resign and allow peace to reign. And also, if you look at the political situation, this is an election year, and the deputy governor is an active member of Konkosia movement. And because of the happenings around, it requires his total commitment, you understand, to the development and restructuring of the movement for it to actually capture power come the election cycle. So these are also part of the broader reason why instead of continuous dragging here and there, and instead of him going there with the weight of the responsibility of that office of the deputy governor, he decided to quit and allow peace to reign and also allow the government to choose whoever they feel comfortable with so that the Kano State people will continue to enjoy governance without unnecessary tension.
All right. Now, we do know that the House of Assembly in Kano had already initiated impeachment proceedings against the former deputy governor. And he also spoke saying that recent circumstances have constrained his ability to fulfill his duty directly, something you alluded to in your last intervention. Now, all of this culminated in his resignation, you think. But what are the reactions of political watchers in Kano? Because now a lot is happening. The Kokwansiya movement is stepping out of the NNPP and moving to a different platform from the one that Governor Yusuf moved to. So what is the import of all of this on the politics of Kano State?
Well, first, to start with the aspect of the defection and issues around APC, NNPP, you know, it's actually not a new thing in Kano. We have seen the same scenario plays when Ganduje decided to leave the movement and also take away most of the elected and appointed officials with him. And we've also seen how the Konkosia movement kind of strategized, you understand, and above again to take over again from the APC. And the issues of alignment and realignment, I believe, is also not new. Remember, our principal was part of such a coalition when the APC was formed, and he has played a very active role in that particular aspect. But the reality in Kano now is that, you know, for every decision, either from the government side or that from our own side, there is definitely going to be consequences for it. And some of the consequences are generic and some are specific. In the governor's side, there are specific consequences, which means that he has to manage, you understand, the people he meets, and even the aspiration of those that are actually getting ready to maybe contest an election into various positions. But because of his own presence and being the party leader now, and he was granted him and members of the State Assembly and other elected position a kind of automatic ticket, there is naturally going to be a lot of bitterness with the people from the other side, and it depends on how he managed that particular aspect of it. And the governor that we know necessarily will have a serious issues doing that, and that is going to be to our own advantage. As you have seen that various camps have been reaching out to the Concoursia movement, there is this very heavy speculation about even the flag bearer of the APC coming also into this alliance and what have you. The realignment actually we have a very protocol discussions with just doing all that is necessary to ensure that we have bounced back. And so the atmosphere is actually a bit tense, and at the same time, it's normal because so many people are actually expecting so many moves from different angles, and I assure you things will take shape very soon. Today, our national leader is moving to a broader coalition, which we believe the decision is actually taken in the best interest of not only the movement, but that of the state and even the nation in general. If we look at the scenario where the federal government is trying to actually ensure that no opposition exists, no political party function, the situation calls for actually all the sensible and reasonable leaders to think alike and work together to ensure that the democracy is safe and also an opposition allowed to actually contribute to the total development of the political landscape. And that is why our national leader left the NNPP, you understand, in an attempt to actually help the coalition attain such a goal of stabilizing the Nigerian democracy.
Now, if one takes into consideration or looks at the fact that for quite a while, until when the announcement was made that Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the former governor of Kano and, of course, the leader of the Kwakwansia movement, was being wooed by the All Progressives Congress, APC. Now that the announcement has been made that he's moving, he has resigned from the NNPP and is going to register with the ADC today. Is this just a precursor to the resignation of the deputy governor himself? And secondly, I'd like to know, what are the political waters like in Kano now that you have the leader of the Kwakwansia movement going in one direction and the state governor going in a different one?
Well, to be honest with you, from the Kwakwansia side, to us is, like I told you, is nothing new. And the entire people of the state actually are even ready for, in fact, they are just waiting for the move, whatever the national leader decided, I believe, to a large extent, that is what is going to happen. And the Kwakwansia movement, and by extension now, whatever political party he joined, have the highest stake in terms of reclaiming the state, irrespective of the fact that the governor and some other political appointees are already there. So I tell you, things are actually going normal, except for the fact that you expected to continue to hear this movement and alignment and realignment, because there are so many people that are actually on the fence. Actually, one, they are trying to see what direction the movement is going to take. Two, they are trying to also to see what part along. That is outside the Kwakwansia movement that are just 100% with the Kwankwaso. So the political atmosphere in the state it's not actually tense, actually, it's calm, because most of the things that are actually happening are things that people already expected. And like you all said, I have made mention of that fact that the deputy governor feel the need actually to get involved in all of these political permutations and political realignment. And also you want to be free to do that without the burden or the weight of the responsibility of the deputy governor's office. So therefore, Kano is actually taking shape, and soon, maybe after today's activities, I believe the update you are going to continue to have is the fact that the number and the size of the members and also the people that will join the ADC in the coming days. And I bet you, if you can check the record, even from just the preliminary discussions when the Peter Obi and the others came, particular time and directives is given for the members of the Concosia to actually move into ADC. I believe the numbers actually in Kano of those that are with ADC have risen significantly, and it will continue to do so in the next few days. And even after all this, when everything settles, I believe it will continue to be an interesting thing how the Kano State is going to turn completely into ADC. I assure you of that.
Okay, your assurance is well noted. Looking at the release that was signed by Senator Kwakwanso at the weekend, which was on TV just now, he said his decision was a difficult one, but he was taking it due to the current trajectory of the nation's political landscape, which he said necessitates a strategic realignment. Now, let me take you to that issue of strategic realignment. Looking at the ADC already, political watchers are saying that, so some of them say that the party may find it a bit difficult to arrive at who should be flag bearer at the presidential level when we talk about the elections in 2027. Now, don't you think that the ADC already has quite a lot of political heavyweights? And is there really, truly any opportunity for any headway for Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso in that party? And of course, maybe you will let us also know if there was any prior discussion and agreements that had been reached that necessitated the movement from the NNPP to the ADC.
Well, first, I think the most important thing is the fact that the Senator Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso decided to move into ADC first for the sole reason that this country needs to be saved, you understand, from sliding into a one-party state. And I believe with that intention in mind, he is open to any issue and any discussion that will ensure that that particular goal is attained. And secondly, I believe with the substance of the people coming, you know, it's not just about the coalition, it's about also the substance, what each and every other big wig represent, and how they are going to use that individual substance into a collective substance that will allow for the coalition to actually serve the purpose for which it is actually formed. And I believe with him getting into that, there are a lot of consultations, which I and you know very well, and which must have encouraged him, you understand, to take this particular step. And I believe the people that are there are seasoned politicians and also those that have the interest of Nigeria at heart. And the main focus is salvaging the Nigeria and ensure that the APC-led government is set aside and allow Nigeria to breathe and also ensure that democracy survives. So I believe whatever kind of permutations, calculations that is going to take place there will be shaped by this intentions and desire, you understand, for Nigeria to actually function as a democratic entity rather than just one-party state that is being dictated indirectly and also being subjected to just one a particular party and what have you. So I can assure you that our national leader is open to all discussions and is ready. And I believe this is not only him, the discussions must have allowed him to be satisfied that issues will be handled the best way possible and in the best interest of Nigerians and in the direction that it will help the coalition attain the desired goal.
All right, Abibu, now the national leader, your national leader, the Kakaaki national leader, is moving today, registering for the ADC. We're told also that he's directed all members of the Kakaaki movement to register for the ADC in their own wards and the various homes. Is that happening today too?
Yeah, I can assure you that if you've been following maybe the trend in the social media, you will have seen a lot of members actually registering and displaying their card since that directive is given. In fact, some have actually gone to start registration from the day they were certain that issues of that nature is actually brewing. And I assure you today, immediately after, beyond Kano State, I believe all our members across the north and even across the nation will abide with that directives and register a mass with the ADC. The central idea, like I told you, is that this movement is embedded into collective aspirations of not only the Kakaaki members. For example, in Kano State, it goes down into the aspirations of the common man. And I believe so many people are looking for a clear direction because they have already been kind of muzzled by the FEC and also being subject to hardship through the policies of the FEC. And I believe every sensible Nigerian will work with those that are ready and willing, especially those that are tested, those that have proven at a point that they were able to solve a problem that is seen to be normal where they are before. And I think not only the Kakaaki members, but I assure you the entire people, most of the people in Kano State will move along that particular direction.
You seem so confident that all the political minded people, all Kano State people will move with the Kakaaki movement. But are you discountenancing completely what in political terms is described as the power of incumbency? The governor, Abba Yusuf, has crossed over to the All Progressives Congress, APC. So what gives you the confidence that all of Kano State will go the Kakaaki way to ADC?
Well, because when we presented him as a candidate, he was barely not known to even Kano State people. People of the state have already aligned themselves with the ideology of the Kakaaki because of what Kakaaki stands for them. Especially the masses and the downtrodden, they have seen that the manifestos, or rather the ideology and even the script of Kakaaki is such that actually have taken the cognizance of who they are and their individual aspiration to rise and become others in their life. Because this is the movement that have introduces a lot of measures that are consistent and they have been paying off since the inception. When the national leader served as the governor of the state, he introduces so many measures, and we believe so much in education to such an extent that education rank first, second, and third in our schemes of things. That is why our national leader introduces free feeding, free uniform, and also free educational facilities when he was the governor. introduces 2 universities and also bring about the private university to the fact that Kano is now having close to 20 universities, introduces 26 entrepreneur institute across the state to such an extent that at a particular point in time, no single child from a secondary school that end up not having to further his education irrespective of his own qualification and what have you. And today, we are proud to say that that particular arrangement was like a seed then, which actually centered around the common man. Today, it has produces more than 350 PhD holders that are serving in the various institutions, not only in the state, but across the northern part of the country. I can tell you that there are institutions where if those scholars are no longer there serving as a lecturer at that particular institution, might end up not having accreditation or even collapsing. So there are so many things that a common man has seen and touched and feel, and they understand. And even the governor, when he was elected, he just hit the ground running, simply because there is a script there for him to work on. You understand? And all the laurels, all the issues that are being celebrated that the governor have actually gotten were issues that are from the script of the Concosia. And the common man and the people of Kano State are well aware of that particular fact. And the fact that Concosia is such that have such a trust in the choices of the national leader, because they believe whoever is there is just going to go on with those particular program. I assure you that we'll have no problem presenting anybody to serve, and I tell you the people of Kano State will do that. And to tell you, the moment the governor decided to defect, in any alignment of two maybe political ideology, naturally there has to be compromise. And that are the sort of the compromises we have started noticing, and the people of the state have started noticing. There is no way somebody who has that discipline, Concosia discipline, for whatever reason decided to scrap an entirety of a very important, or rather one of the most important ministry in the state, you understand, simply to satisfy political, arrangement and what have you. And that is in principle complete, divergence from the goals and the policies of Concosia. And not only that, the scholars, or rather the scholarship that he has also continued, he has abandoned that already. The fact that you had them even on the media crying out simply because he wanted to achieve certain political goal, that's not part of what we have sorted out. And there's so many other, divergence, which I believe the people of the state are actually watching. And like I told you, he's not somebody that can handle a complex political setting like where he found himself in. Remember, this is the man that have moved into a camp of bigger fishes, where Ganduje is there, where the TSP is there, and several other political bigwigs that are actually watching him taking steps that we believe are not going to be in his own favor, because he lacked that capacity to actually manage the complexity of such a setting, and the fact that he is actually going to stamp over the aspiration of so many people that feels originally the owners of the ABC in the state. And I believe that is just going to be a plus to us, and it will make it a fertile ground for us to take over the government. Remember, we have done that before. It's not a new thing to us. When Ganduje and every other person is there, with even the support of the federal government and what have you, and the Concosia movement is having no single councillor, not to talk of a member of House of Rep or State Assembly, or even to talk of the contractors that ought to support or even fund, any election or what have you. We have started from ground level zero, and yet we took over that particular government and also placed him there. So it's not going to be very difficult for us to uproot him and also allow, the state to regain its senses.
We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out in the coming days and weeks. Dr. Abibu Saleh Mohammed, we must thank you very much for talking to us this morning. He is the spokesperson for the Kwakwansia movement. He's been talking to us, giving us an update on the events in that state. Of course, the political season kicking off in earnest right across Nigeria. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
All right, you're still watching Kakaaki, the African Voice. We have comments that have been flying in from all our viewers this morning. And Victor Temba is the one who has been commenting on this particular conversation. Let me start from there, looking at a few of these comments. And he says, this is what Kwakwanso should have done in the 2023 general elections. He would have been the vice president by now, but no, the eagle in him for being a vice president under an Igbo man didn't allow him. If the Kwakwansia group refused to work with Peter Obi because of the Northern Eagles against the Southeasterners, what sudden change and what could be different now? Well, we'll wait and see how it pans out, Victor. And Jones Ogumike says, beautiful. His response on Kwakwanso is very brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So we have so many other comments that came in during the newspaper review, but it's time for us to step aside, for me to step aside, and Kakaaki Social will come on in just a moment. Stay with us.
As they break, the multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
There is a serious threat to democracy, and our government seem to be incapable of protecting
the scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go. Every part of this country is important.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it, but for that reason, politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
That is the law. National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
So people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
for the former president, yes, what I know is that he has not turned his membership card. He has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the issues.
The system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
is about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, politics, and power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
Good morning, Nigeria. It is Monday, a brand new week, and we have got the top stories to kickstart your day. Let's dive right in. My name is Chidera Izudoi. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed gratitude to Nigerians as he marks his 75th birthday yesterday. In a message released on his X account to commemorate the occasion, the president said he is filled with joy and appreciation for the opportunity to serve the nation. He also thanked Nigerians for their messages, for their prayers, and overwhelming show of love. The president also commended citizens for their patriotism, solidarity, and continued support for his administration, reaffirming his commitment to serving the country and Nigeria at large. Let's see what netizens are saying concerning our president's 74th birthday. Let's go to the space of X and see what is going on. So this was his message to Nigerians yesterday. And Merlin says, happy birthday, Mr. President. You will experience some things this year. You will be shocked. You will be mesmerized. You will look up to God and say, wow. You may think of running, but please don't do it. You can only run. You can't hide from the hands of God Almighty. You will be a testament that God knows and sees and sees all, and no one will be spared from their deeds. Well, let us continue. Abdullahi is saying people are going through suffering and hardship under his watch. Hunger, kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism are the order of the day. Do you agree that Tinubu is serving the citizens of Nigeria? Well, let us see. This user says, another year don't add. Speech don't flow everywhere. But now still the same Nigerians, where they suffer, they send congrats. Oga, no be appreciation we need again. Now results. Because truth be say, people not just they pray for you, they endure administration daily. At this point, now action go loud past all these thank you messages. Let us continue. President Emmanuel is saying, Mr. President, the young people of Nigeria are solidly behind you in your quest to build Nigeria into a stronger, prosperous, and more resilient nation that will make Nigeria the pride of Africa. We see the reforms, the consistent actions towards making sure that Nigeria is not only economically strong, but also a place where foreign investors can invest without fear of sudden shocks. We see everything and we acknowledge them. As you celebrate your birthday, we can only wish that you have more strength to be able to do everything you have promised to the core. Once again, happy birthday, Mr. President. Well, let us continue. And this last user says, no light on your birthday. How we want to celebrate? Abi na the people where bandits they terrorize every day. You won't make them wish you happy birthday. Now, these are many more reactions on the space of X, but let us continue. Now, still on the president's birthday, he has donated all his salaries since assuming office to the newly established Armed Forces Welfare Fund. This announcement was made as the president marked his 74th birthday yesterday in what has been described as a significant gesture of appreciation to Nigeria's military personnel. According to the presidency, this donation is aimed at supporting the welfare of members of the armed forces and their families, recognizing their sacrifices in safeguarding the nation. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the well-being of security personnel, stressing the importance of continued support for the defending of the country. He really contributed a lot, but let's see what netizens are saying concerning all of this reaction to the space of X. And we have the reaction after the president's, yes. Okay, Now let us continue. Over the weekend, supporters of the All Progressives Congress were thrown into confusion at the convention venue in Abuja after security operatives fired tear gas to disperse the crowd. Eyewitnesses say the various and several supporters were seen struggling to breathe while others scampered for safety as the situation escalated. This incident reportedly caused panic around the venue, with many pushing to exit the area to avoid the effects of the tear gas. Authorities are yet to release an official statement on the circumstances that led to the use of force. Let's take a look at this video. Saying concerning what happened on Saturday at the APC convention, to the next slide where our reactions are. Now, Tosin says, who knew democracy in action could smell this bad? Next time, bring inhalers, water bottles, and maybe a map. Apparently, finding exit is harder than winning votes. Some are running like a political career depends on it. And to be honest, it's probably does. And we have another reaction, Chris, who says, the irony is screaming. 1 minute you're chanting for them, the next minute their tear gas is giving you a reality check. Bad governance doesn't ask for your party card before it chokes you. Life comes at you fast. Hashtag suffering and smiling. And we have another user who says, Red Rose Chelsea says, security tear gas APC supporters. A mistaken identity. They mistake them for ADC supporters? A very legit question that was trending since Saturday. Now, Joseph says, if Nigeria was better and hardworking, this salary wouldn't suffice. Imagine adults that are supposed to be at their place of work putting their lives at risk because of 5,000 naira each. It is what it is. Now, let us continue. The former presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party has announced his resignation from the party with immediate effect. In a statement, the politician expressed profound gratitude for the opportunity to serve as the party's national leader and the presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections. He described this decision to resign as a difficult one, noting that he had been committed and a bona fide member of the party. This development marks a significant shift within the NNPP as party members and political observers await further details surrounding this resignation. Now, let's look at Kwankwaso's tweet yesterday. A look at this tweet. Now, this was the press statement that Kwankwaso released on X yesterday. And he says, I wish to formally announce my resignation from NNPP. I seize this opportunity to express profound gratitude for the honor and privilege of serving as the party's national leader and the presidential candidate. It was a very long write-up, and netizens have been reacting, some persons for, some persons against. But let me take you to what they have been saying concerning Kwankwaso's resignation. And it will be happening today, but he tweeted this yesterday. So on to the next slide, onto what netizens have been saying. And Hassan says, Alhaji Kwankwaso, with all due respect, moving to ADC at this critical moment is not strategy, it is impatience. ADC is where political relevance goes to die. Your movement deserves better than a party packed with political wanderers. Calm down, think long term. 2027 is bigger than your frustrations. Okay, this is a very well-deserved advice. Dubem is saying this is a massive feat. Today, another gladiator has joined the ADC in an operation to rescue the soul of the nation from the opposition storm is coming. Now, we await the elections coming up next year. So Leo is saying Kwankwaso founded NNPP. Peter Obi built Labour Party's biggest movement since 1993. Both have now abandoned the parties their followers bled for. Nigerian politicians don't build institutions, they build personal vehicles. When the vehicle no longer serves them, they jump out and leave you stranded. The party was never the point. You were never the point. Let us continue. And Fono Mobile is saying He wants to join ADC and align with Peter Obi, the alignment he rejected the last time. I think Kwankwaso leaving NNPP is a huge move in Nigerian politics. It shows he is serious about finding the right platform to make a real impact and pursue his ambition for the country. Stepping away from a party where he was both a national leader and a presidential candidate won't be easy, but this decision could shake up political alliances and reshape the landscape ahead. Okay, we have one more user. Festus says, leaving your own house to become a tenant in another man's house. I wish you well, Your Excellency. He was really bitter with these comments. But then let us continue. A video shared by Dino Melaye has sparked reactions online after he criticized the state of the nation and alleged vote inducement. In a post, Melaye wrote in Pidgin, waiting APC reduced Niger to. Them don't even bother to hide them again. Now, while sharing the footage that appears to show cash being distributed to individuals, the video has generated widespread debate on social media with concerns raised over electoral integrity and political conduct. Now, the All Progressives Congress is yet to respond to these allegations, while observers have called for proper investigation into this claim. Let's take a look at this video posted by Dino Melaye. Everything you saw in that video was allegedly, because we are not sure yet, but that was Dino's own point of view. Now, let's see what Gigi's project is saying. When Dino Melaye was there, did he think of making Nigeria work? You enjoyed the corruption, now you wished you stopped what you guys enjoyed then. Let's make Nigeria work and everyone will be better. Una say no. Now let us continue. Another user, Fumilayo, says, so people still can't talk to their mothers and aunties. These people no get family. Well, everybody should do what they like. Another long 32 years ahead, since we know they learn anything. Please, we are learning. Busi Obat is saying this is our money that should have been paid into individuals' accounts by a legitimate government based on our mineral resources dividends. But these same people put us into this mess and turn their brother into beggars. You will all pay for this. Allegedly. That is not APC. Allegedly. Now, Femi Boy is saying, with all due respect, sir, things like this never stopped happening even while you were there. You all encouraged it. If you happen to be in power, you definitely will be doing the same. You are one of those who God gave the chance to fix the country, but you didn't. You are not a saint. Well, it is what it is. Let's continue. The Nigerian Communications Commission has directed mobile network operators to compensate subscribers in areas where network quality falls below prescribed standards. The Commission says this move is aimed at improving service delivery and protecting consumer rights across the country. Now, according to the regulator, telecom operators will be held accountable for poor network performance, including dropped calls, slow data speed, and service outages. The NCC also emphasized that this directive forms part of ongoing efforts to ensure that Nigerians receive value for their money and enjoy reliable telecommunications services. Let's go to the space of X, because network has been a lot lately, but let's see what Abiola is saying. Instead of compensate, why not improve the network quality and fast internet? I don't like when internet network slows, and then they should just fix it instead of compensate. Thank you. At MTN, now let us continue. Now, another user, Henry, is saying, NCC don't finally wake up. Telecoms must now pay airtime credits for standard network based on how much we spend, plus our local government areas. My village never see proper 4G since 2015, but I don't drop millions of data wey no dey work if they calculate my own well. I beg fix the network, jare, no be credits we go use on the same trash. Or let us continue. Another user, Tosin, says, people deserve more than just airtime. They also deserve an apology for poor service. The three major telecom carriers have delivered nothing but substandard service over the last 3 months. Internet connectivity has been worse. Voice calls have become terrible and annoying. It has been a lot lately, I agree. Now, Tife is saying a good policy on paper, but Nigerians will be watching to see if it actually reflects in their experience. Now, finally, a woman has alleged that, well, this is another reaction before we go to our final story. Ilcon is saying a big win for consumers. Kudos to the NCC for moving from fines to actual airtime credits based on real spending data. This will finally hit telecoms where it matters, their pocket. To make it even more effective, publish the exact list of affected local governments publicly so we can track compliance. Set up a simple USSD code for subscribers to claim credits without stress. Tie future licenses and renewals to measurable infrastructure upgrades, not just penalty. Now, this is how we move from sorry for the inconvenience to reliable service. Let us keep the pressure on until the local government gets quality network. Who else is tired of paying for network that does not work? Drop your local government. Well, let us see what the effects it will have. Now, a woman has alleged that she was harassed and inappropriately touched by the police officer in Festa Town, Lagos. This incident, which reportedly occurred recently, has sparked concerns in social media, with the victim calling for justice and accountability. According to her account, the officer engaged in misconduct, prompting outrage on social media and renewed calls for professionalism within the Nigeria police force. Authorities are yet to issue an official statement on the matter, as investigations are expected to commence. Let's see this video.
You want to naked me? What's the meaning of all this one? What is it? Remove it. Remove it. This first tag. What else? I want to check her body. I want to check her body. Want to check? Yeah, check. Open my wig for what? So why will I open my wig? I cannot open my wig. Why will I open my wig? I should believe it. Yes. Why?
This is what we call buzz boost, but let's see what netizens are saying. Sultan of Abuja says, police say bring it out. She say remove it. Our attitude sometimes turns these people on to a certain act. She can do this smiling and still walk freely without any harassment. Another user in the same line is saying, the lady was a bit rude though. She should have at least complied with the police officer's instruction instead of telling an officer of the law, bring it out, when she asked, what's in your pockets? That is a bit rude. Well, now woman to woman. Let us continue what has been going on in the space of social media. Another user in the same line says almost the same thing, but a bit different. Augustus is saying, asking female officers to check ladies as if it is the safest option, forgetting that some female officers might have different sexual orientations. Finally, in this story, we have the CEO who says, this is completely wrong. The officer should know better, especially when dealing with a woman. There are clear boundaries. Actions like that can easily be seen as sexual harassment. You can't be running your hands over a woman's body like that in the name of doing your job. Well, it is what it is. And finally, a man in a viral video has claimed that the residents of a Mogul community in Kwara State have fled their homes following alleged terrorist attack in the area. In the footage, the man alleges their houses have been abandoned while mosques and churches remain closed, leaving leaving only security personnel on ground. Now, these claims have raised concerns over safety and displacement in the community, although authorities are yet to officially confirm this situation. Security agencies, including Nigeria Police Force, have not released the statements as of the time of this report. Let's see this video.
There is no one left in the community. Even where we are just coming from, vigilantes and police were shooting guns. Omugo community is scattered and there is no one left here. Everyone has fled and locked up their houses because of terrorist attacks. Even the churches and mosques are locked. This is the church where some people were kidnapped last Sunday. The community is empty in Omuaron.
It's Kakaaki Social. Stay tuned, stay connected. We will be seeing you same time tomorrow. My name is Chidera Izudoye.
People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Oni Amarere.
The role from the agencies we have.
Sometimes people go on scan you. But Baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My Baba remember OPay USSD lock, dial *955*131#. Baba press am, lock account. From market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now OPay, they protect people like us. My Baba fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire am, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now OPay be the people payment shield.
Football lovers, movie lovers, family entertainment fans, get ready for something big because StarTimes is giving you Over Jara. For a limited time, when you recharge for 2 months, you get upgraded to the next bouquet free. That's more sports, more movies, more kids shows, more entertainment at no extra cost. Over Jara. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Politics and Power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
The role performing agencies be held to account, or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT. The the issues as they break, the multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
There is a serious threat to democracy, and our government seem to be incapable of protecting
the scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is equal.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it was for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
Ask him where is the law.
National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
So people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
For
this
the former president,
yes,
what I know is that he has not turned his membership card. Has not been attending your meeting.
leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the
The
issues.
system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT.
Thank you for staying with us. You are still watching Kakaaki, the African Voice, this Monday. It's the 30th day of March 2026. And of course, Nigeria striding towards the 2027 elections. You all noticed that the weekend was replete with political events, especially here in Abuja, where you had the national conventions of the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party, at the federal level and in 32 states or thereabouts now in Nigeria. Yes, 33 states if you count them now. And of course, you had the People's Democratic Party also holding its own national convention here in the city. So it was a busy time for both political parties here in Abuja at the weekend. The APC concluded its 8th national convention, returning Nentawe Yilwada as the party's national chairman, and Surajuddin Bashiru, the secretary, and other people who were made part of the national working committee of the party via a consensus arrangement ratified by the delegates at the convention. The same thing happened at the National Stadium when the PDP held its own convention there on Sunday. And we will be talking about that now. I'm joined by James Ugochukwu, is joining me virtually now. James is the Regional General Secretary of the West African Civil Society Forum. Thank you, James, for joining me. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, now let's begin perhaps with the timing. How significant was it that both the APC and the People's Democratic Party chose to hold their conventions at the same weekend in the same city?
Well, I think both of them are trying to reestablish their legitimacy and their existence in the polity. Hence the reason why the whole thing happened back-to-back, one in Eagle Square and the other one at the National Stadium. And of course, we will recall that the INEC has already set out their timetable, so whatever they are doing is within the framework of INEC guidelines towards the 2027 general election. And of course, the reason I think they are doing that is PDP, for instance, now their own convention is less of celebration and more of legitimization and, of course, proving that, yes, we are surviving as a party, regardless of whatever is happening within the polity. And, of course, that of APC, that one is about control, tightening their control, and, of course, affirming that they are in charge, having captured 31 states out of the 36 states. And, of course, who knows if they are going to capture the whole states before the game step up. So if you ask me, I think with this now, a party like PDP now, we're looking at how they can handle their post-convention factional challenges that they are having, both at the appeal court and the Supreme Court, as the case may be. And we are hoping that before 2027, they're able to put their acts right, because they continue like this, having faction and sub-faction, both at the north, at the south, at the north, southwest, south, and the like. It's going to be a problem for them. So we're hoping that in the next couple of months, they should be able to, sort out this issue, and, of course, prepare properly for 2027 election. And as of APC too, we'll be looking at how the new structure now will help in delivering the votes to APC, because you know that we had a lot of governors defecting of recent, and, of course, we are looking at most of these states now still having aggrieved members of APC, because most of these governors at the camp, they took over power structure from the existing APC structure. We have several states that we can mention as an example. So we should not shy away from the reality or the conviction that some of these people that power has been hijacked from, so to say, still have a significant role to play in how the APC emerge in their states also. Because imagine in some states now you have a party leader and all that, and the governor defected and became the de facto party leader. Some states joined the new leadership. Some are still, aggrieved about the development. So these are the issues that the APC itself has to contend with, notwithstanding that they have the majority of the states in their kitty.
Now, James, the two parties that held their conventions in Abuja, looking at the build-up to both conventions, are there similarities between them? For instance, the People's Democratic Party is just working on reconciliation for all of its party members. And if you listened to Bukola Saraki at that convention, you will know that indeed the party is doing all it can to get its people together. But despite that, a faction still went ahead to the Supreme Court last week. Now, when you take a look at that, and of course all the recent political upheavals in the APC itself, you mentioned some of them, governors defecting, taking over political structures in states where they were not. They had other people who were leading the political structure of the APC before and all of that. So what do you make of it? How do you describe the build-up to these conventions? And what do you foresee in the next few weeks?
Okay, I think on the build-up to the convention, that of the PDP, as I said before, is to reaffirm their legitimacy. So see a situation where the weaker faction...
Is it legitimacy or the fact that they're still one party, or that they're still relevant?
Well, maybe relevant should be the language to show that yes, we are surviving and we are still relevant in the system. But if you look at it now, both, when I use legitimacy now, it's like the case about the faction is in the court now. So there are people saying that you are the legitimate PDP, the other one is not. The other one is going to the Supreme Court, and INEC was in the convention, the weekend convention now. And remember that we had a convention in Ibadan that was, cancelled So these are the reasons why I'm saying legitimacy. And of course, another issue now is that they are trying to affirm their survival now. So we are believing.
Oh, looks like we lost James. The network is making it difficult to get to hear him. James, are you still there? James? The network has knocked James off completely. Let's just take a break and then we'll try and sort out that and continue with that conversation when we come back.
Figure, the state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy, and our government seem to be incapable of protecting
the scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is equal.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it was for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
Ask him where is the law.
National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
So people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
For
this
the former president,
yes.
what I know is that he has not turned his membership card. He has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the
The
issues.
system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT. The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live. People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT. The issues as they break. The multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state
There
actors.
is a serious threat to democracy, and our government seem to be incapable of protecting
the scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is important.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe in godfatherism in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
All right, we're still on Kakaaki, the African Voice. This Monday morning, I was talking to James Ugochukwu, the Regional General Secretary of the West African Civil Society Forum, until the internet network made it impossible for us to continue that conversation. But gladly, he's back now, and I hope that we can have a very decent conversation in the next 10, 12 minutes before we have to go on the program. So, James, thank you for staying there. You were actually talking before the picture froze, and I couldn't hear you any longer. I'd like you to finish that thought first before I move on to the next thing.
So, thank you. As part of the challenges we are having, the glitches, I hope as we are heading towards 2027, we will not be experiencing that during the election. All right, so the point I'm making is that it's not impossible for the PDP to reconcile as a party. They've been together there, and I think the challenges here is interest-based politics mixed with ego, and of course, capacity to manage internal crisis, which is not impossible to navigate through. So the Sheyi Makinde, the Wike faction, the sub-Turaki faction, because as we speak, we still have people that even though Turaki has defected to another party, they are still in PDP, leaderless, looking for where to belong to. Because PDP, one thing you cannot take away from them is that they still have that national spread deep into the grassroots. So what the party leadership will do to salvage this situation is to see a meeting point for both of them to be able to agree that, okay, this is what we want. For instance, now they've already solved the problem of zoning. Look at the leadership emergence now, North-South, very, very balanced, and I'm sure they are still going to give the presidency to the South. So now, giving the presidency to the South now, who is going to be fronted as their flag bearer? Is it Minister Wike that is going to resign anyway? I don't think so, because the president already given directives that those that want to contest for 2027 election should resign, which I have not seen him done yet. So maybe that removes him. Then does he have a favorite candidate that all of them are going to agree to front from the South? That's going to be a major challenge or a determinant to their reconciliation, because if some section or insist that they feel the candidates from the North is going to be a problem, but South, that will be manageable. So the Makinde group, the Wike group, and any other subgroup, we still have the board of trustees, the founders, they still have their own challenge, their own reservation. So all these three needs to come together, and I think it's the board of trustees, which we still have many of them alive, that should be able to bring all these new members. So, my children, please let us fix whatever problem we are having and reconcile as a party. Then for APC, we are looking at still freeing the nerves of those people that apparently felt that power has been hijacked from them from at the state level, because we are looking at grassroots politicians. You can't take away that from them. And I don't want to start mentioning them. These are grassroots politicians that are there. So having the governor that comes from a different party to hijack the party structure just like that is not something you can just beat your chest and say, yes, it's Uhuru, we're going to get whatever we want. Remember the timetable of the election, the presidency comes first, presidency and National Assembly comes first, yes. And peradventure, the APC wins now. They require that the governors at that level now, they still have this former leaders of APC to contend with. They can mess up things for you. So they themselves still have a lot of axe to grind in terms of reconciling with this original power structure to ensure that they bring them in and they carry them along. Some states have succeeded in doing that. Some states are still in the process, and some are not even having that conversation at all. So the APC in some states should not start announcing premature victory. They have a work to do, which is to reconcile everybody if they want to move ahead. Of course, they should remember that even though they hold the power in the state, oppositions are still there, and they still have all those who want to contend with when the election is up and running.
Okay. Now, James, let's talk specifically about the APC now. You've seen a number of governors defect over time, and what that has brought, one of the consequences of that is something you mentioned earlier on, the party structure. And I want to use Delta State as an example because that was the very first state where the governor and his cabinet and indeed all the local government chairmen, everyone in governance in the state defected to the All Progressives Congress. And at that time, political watchers and analysts did say that it was likely to create some discomfiture for those who had already been in leadership in the party in the state. And that is replicating itself across all the states where the governors have defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress. Now, do you agree with those who think that it may not just be all smooth for the APC in these states, and it could affect them at the national level too during the presidential election?
Yes, I think I've hinted that somehow because
yes, you did.
The people are dealing with are grassroots politicians, and you can't take away that from them. You can't take away that power from them. So how far have they gone in aligning with these people or willing to align with these people to take full control of the state? You just mentioned Delta State, for instance. Now, I don't think the likes of former Deputy Senate President Omar Agege and the governor and the party structure, they've reconciled yet. You know, not to talk of other states that we are not hearing, because that of Delta State was more prominent because the former party structure was controlled by the Deputy Senate President.
Former Deputy Senate President, yeah.
Exactly. So now, not talk of other states that are very latent, that we still have these powerful men at the grassroots. And again, most of these people that are there, they've been serving APC faithfully since the past 8 years of former President Buhari administration up to this moment that everybody is defecting. And anybody that is in the political party is a politician, is hoping to gain politically, either through elective position or appointed position. So now, by the time you now hand the whole party structure, or maybe the party structure is hijacked by a new system, what hope are they now having, or what is their fate going forward? So those should be well negotiated by the governors that are taking over from these states, because now that we are going to have a consensus arrangement, because that's what is going to happen in the primaries. Yes, you appear nobody's challenging you, starting from the president, you know, to all the governors. You are being given automatic return, or you are being given consensus support. The question we're asking is that these people that have been loyal to the party right from time, what becomes their fate? So all this needs to be negotiated. You know, politics is about interest too. Before you can beat your chest that yes, you are coasting to victory, or you have the chance of coasting to victory, you need to factor the interest of every single members of the party. whether you hijack power from them or they are with you, be able to give them what they want. Because if you don't, definitely they will be with you, but at the end of the day, they will still mess things up for you. Of course, we are seeing it now. We are already seeing it displayed in the past 2023 elections, where you see but some particular governors in opposition parties still working for the other ones and all that, and it's still happening now. We have a minister that is the PDP and is serving in the APC government. So that is it. So it's all about negotiation and, of course, keying into the interests of each parties involved across the states. If you don't do that, I smell some sabotage coming up. You know, people and especially politicians, they can, you know, protect their interests to the later, and they will not shout about it. You just see sabotage unfolding at a very long hour and later one that you won't even have chance to correct it again. So my advice to them is that so as long as they hold power, they should be able to understand that they met people there and they should carry all those people along if they want to win victory the way it is.
All right. A quick one before we go now, James. The People's Democratic Party has lost almost all its governors. I think they have only 2 governors left now. The governors of Bauchi and Oyo State, Bala Mohammed and Sheyi Makinde, left on their books. Now, how do you see that party being able to rejuvenate itself ahead of the elections? I've heard a lot of party chieftains say that they are the party to beat in 2027. And I'm wondering how they intend to do that against an APC that has 32 governors, because there are 2 governors of the PDP, one for Labour Party, one for APGA. So how do you see the PDP picking itself up in the aftermath of this national convention?
I think what is happening to PDP is a lesson to all the political parties, both the ruling party and the other emerging one. And what is the lesson? No matter how powerful you think you are, you need to be careful how you handle your internal party democracy. What brought PDP here is inability to handle their internal party democracy. And of course, to answer your question, well, it depends on how they mobilize voters and the kind of manifesto they bring in place. If they engage in character assassination or attacking opposition, ruling party and all that, it will not help them. So they should be able to key into the cries of Nigeria and say, okay, this is what we are going to do differently, and they should bring it convincingly before people can align with them. So the thing about election is very, very dynamic. So nobody can say for sure that PDP will fizzle out after 2027 or that they cannot bounce back and even take half of the country. It's all about strategy. So if they will concentrate on strategy, mobilizing voters, which is what most of the political parties don't do. They don't mobilize voters. They wait till during campaign and they get deceived by the mammoth crowd that comes to their campaign and think that they have followers. How many of them are your members, or how many of them even have voters' cards to vote during election? So groundwork is something that they should take seriously as we build up to 2027. So that maybe they can recover some state from themselves.
All right, James.
Okay.
We're going to need to leave it at that now. Our time is completely out, but I thank you for your time and, of course, taking time out to talk to us about the aftermath of the conventions of the ruling APC and the People's Democratic Party that took place last weekend. Thank you so much, James Ugochukwu.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. James is the Regional General Secretary of the West African Civil Society Forum, and he talks to me at length this morning. And that's how we drop anchor on Kakaaki, the African Voice. We thank you also for being part of the program. I see all your comments, so many of them, but I can only take a few, but right now time is completely out. I ask you to join us again on Tuesday for another edition of the program. And Have a great day, whatever you do, wherever you go. Please stay safe. My name is Kunle Adewale.